Let's bring in NBC News senior national politics reporter Jonathan Allen, NBC News chief international correspondent Keir Simmons, and former Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy and Public Affairs Rick Stengel. John, set the stage for us. What is the plan for Friday's summit?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at right now for Trump and Putin to get together, for a U.S. and Russia to get together and talk about this plan for bringing peace about. But there's an opportunity potentially, White House officials and others saying that Zelensky might be invited. But I mean, let's zoom out here. What's really going on is Vladimir Putin wants all of Ukraine, and Vladimir Zelensky wants Russia to have none of Ukraine. And Donald Trump's position has been to try to figure out which parts of Ukraine can be sold off to Russia, which parts Russia can be rewarded with for having invaded Ukraine. And, you know, it doesn't appear yet that he has found that solution.
Keir, what is Russian President Vladimir Putin's goal with this summit?
Well, he has multiple goals, tactical goals. One is to just extend the timeline so that the Russians can keep fighting, because he does believe that the Ukrainian front line is going to collapse, even if he's wrong about that. We won't know, obviously. He also has a goal of just simply being able to be face-to-face with an American president. That's always a goal he has. He does not want to sit down with President Zelensky unless he has to. He's made clear that he doesn't believe that President Zelensky should be the leader of Ukraine. And then more broadly speaking, we just know this because he's stuck to this messaging over these years. He wants to ensure that Ukraine is neutral, doesn't join NATO, that he has influence over Ukraine and the wider Eastern Europe, and he wants to divide Europe from the US. I mean, those goals remain, and honestly, I think one of the things that he will be trying to do on Friday, if this meeting does happen on Friday, is to achieve with diplomacy what he hasn't been able to achieve militarily. I will say this, the announcement of the meeting blindsided European leaders here in London and in Paris and Berlin and in Kyiv. It also blindsided some members of the Trump administration and some members of and some officials in the Kremlin. Both President Putin and President Trump have form for just announcing, making a decision and shifting position and making announcements that surprise their own officials. And I think that's what's happening here. And we don't even know, for example, it's supposed to happen in Alaska. We don't know where in Alaska it's going to take place. So there are many, many questions. And I think, but then to go back to your original question, the one thing I don't think we can have any doubt about is exactly what President Putin is trying to achieve.
Well, and I think you point out there are so many questions still unanswered, including who is going to be in the room with Trump and Putin, if it's just going to be the two of them or if they'll have teams with them. And as we await this press conference today, perhaps President Trump will face some of those questions and maybe we'll learn more details. So we'll be, again, turning to that as soon as it begins. But Rick, Putin is ex-KGB. He knows how to tell someone what they want to hear and not necessarily give up much. Former U.S. Ambassador to Russia Michael McFaul told NBC News there's always the possibility of getting jammed by Putin. And, quote, summits are to achieve an objective that advances American national interests. They're the means to an end. And I sometimes feel that Trump feels the meeting is an end in itself. Rick, should the president and his team be preparing for this meeting? In what way should they be preparing? And realistically, what are you expecting to come from it?
Well, Anna, it's sad to me that they don't seem prepared for the meeting. What normally happens in a situation like this is weeks and weeks of preparation, the president going through a kind of murder board of options. Trump obviously likes to just do things spontaneously. I mean, you mentioned what's going to happen in the room with Vladimir Putin. I spent 3 hours in an interview with Vladimir Putin in 2006. He can talk for 90 minutes about the history of the Russian Orthodox Church or the history of Ukraine. So the idea, as Mike says, is Putin going to jam Trump? 100% he's going to jam Trump. And that becomes much, much easier when you don't have a plan yourself. I mean, our two guests have already talked about we don't know where the meeting is. We don't know who's attending the meeting. That's a recipe for a potential disaster. I know President Trump feels like that he can tap dance his way to victory, but he's already handed Vladimir Putin a victory. Vladimir Putin is a war criminal according to the International Criminal Court. He's not allowed to go into most countries in the world, and yet Donald Trump has invited him to Alaska. By the way, a piece of land which the United States bought from Russia in 1867, just to add to the irony.
So to the point of the location, I was wondering, it's the U.S., yes, it's inviting Putin to this country, but it's President Trump's home turf. Does that give Trump the upper hand?
Well, the fact that he invited Putin to American territory, as Keir said, it's always the goal of a Russian president to have a one-on-one meeting with an American president. That's something, for example, that President Obama avoided doing because he didn't want to show that there was some kind of diplomatic equivalence between an American president and a Russian president. Donald Trump regards this as some kind of heavyweight fight and that the world is paying attention to. But he is raising the status of Vladimir Putin by having a one-on-one meeting in U.S. territory. The Russian economy is the size of Italy. It's not one of the top 10 countries in the world, and yet, Donald Trump is handing Putin a victory by meeting with him face-to-face, mano a mano.
John, the White House initially said a Putin meeting with Zelensky was a condition for a Trump-Putin meeting. That's apparently no longer the case. Why the flip-flop on this? And will Zelensky be invited to Alaska?
I mean, the short answer is the flip-flop is happening because nothing has worked for this White House. The president promised, naively perhaps, that he would end this war on day one. He promised that there wouldn't be a war in the Middle East, that he would be able to end the war in Gaza. He's had tremendous difficulty in foreign policy, and he's scrambling. He's trying to do everything he can to fulfill that promise that he made without really considering what the Russian goals were, without really considering what the Ukrainian goals were. And now he's invited Putin to Alaska, to American territory. Although it's unclear to me why he made himself and Putin travel so far. I mean, it would have been easier to find a spot in Europe, maybe Helsinki, where they'd had a previous meeting. Might have been some shorter flights there. But he is scrambling, and we see him, today he's going to unleash this domestic law enforcement with the federal government in Washington, D.C. He's looking for some wins. And so the inviting Zelensky will only happen if he thinks that makes a win.
We are told, according to a senior U.S. official and 3 people briefed on the discussions, that the White House is considering inviting Zelensky to Alaska, saying it is being discussed. So, Rick, if he were to travel to Alaska, it's not clear whether he and Putin would ever actually be in the same room. That's according to one of the people briefed on these discussions. So what could this all look like if Zelensky actually made the trip?
It could look like a circus, Anna, I think. And that's exactly probably what Donald Trump wants, is this kind of international circus that the world's attention is on. I mean, they shouldn't be negotiating without Zelensky. Zelensky is obviously a party to this. Putin has said he would not meet with Zelensky under any circumstance. So it's possible that Zelensky, as a kind of stunt, might travel there himself, and then maybe President Trump would meet with him. But to just go back where we started, I mean, the fact that this is so not organized, so not planned, so not set in stone makes it very, very dangerous to do these kind of high-level negotiations.